Hire smart and profit. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Newsletter Guru TV, your show with a boatload of smart marketing and business building advice and a little fun along the way.
This episode of Newsletter Guru TV is brought to you by Jim Palmer's 2013 Ride the Rebound Mastermind and Coaching Program, the place to claim your share of the economic boom or create your own. Join Jim and other successful entrepreneurs for an exciting and profitable journey as you take your business to the next level and beyond. Get all the details now at www.ridetherebound.com. That's www.ridetherebound.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm down here at the Glazer Kennedy Info Summit. Ran into a very good friend of mine, Jay Henderson, right?
Yes.
All right, you left me hanging. Look at my freaking hand. Next time,
I didn't want to show. I thought you were pointing at me.
Hey everybody, Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee at the Gaylord Opryland, this gigantic hotel. We're down here for the Glazer Kennedy Info Summit. One of the things I always love about going to these events, see my good friends. Speaking of good friends, Jay Henderson. How you doing, Jay?
Great, great.
So I asked Jay to come on Newsletter Guru TV because, as you know, entrepreneurs, small business owners largely watch this. Jay has been doing some amazing work the last few years. He's actually been trained, did you say like 30 years from?
17.
For 17 years. Well, in some, it's like dog years, 30 years. But he's been trained for 17 years on these strategies, techniques, and the ability to determine how an employee is going to work out. Because, one of the most expensive things you have in your business is your payroll. And so when you take all the time to hire and then the person doesn't work out after all that training, you start over, it's a huge expense to your business. So thank you for coming on. We're going to share a couple tips and strategies. We're actually just coming back from a great lunch. So Jay, welcome to Newsletter Guru TV.
Thank you.
And what's the name of your company?
It's called Real Talent Hiring.
Real Talent Hiring. And you're in North Carolina, right?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Very good. So if, I don't have any employees per se, but I have 9 virtual assistants. So this actually applies in both cases, right? Anybody who's working and supporting you in your business.
Absolutely.
So tell the viewers, what's like one great tip you could share with them when they know they need help and they're going to go hire? Like, what's one of the smart things they should do?
Well, make sure that you check references. It's absolutely necessary to do. Now, it's tricky because today we kind of have a bit of a litigious society, and people are really scared to talk poorly about others. And I'm glad about that, actually. But as a business owner making the decision to hire someone, you've got to make sure that this is a person who's going to do a good job for you and last. So make sure you do those reference checks. But I think everybody knows that. The real key, though, to doing a great reference check is there's a couple of tips. I'll give you 2.
Okay.
One is that you're going to get voicemail. And when you get voicemail a lot, what you want to do is say, call me back if this person was outstanding. You see, because if they weren't outstanding, you take them off the hook. They're busy already. But it's a very useful tip. Another tip is to, when you're checking a reference and talking to the person your candidate gave you the name of, actually ask them, who else did Mary, John, or Sue work with in your organization, and can I speak to them? Because you'll get the real truth from them.
Wow. Those are good tips. And you said something really important. It's a litigious society. And my wife works in a large kind of a corporate environment, and so sometimes all you get is, yes, they worked here.
Yeah, right.
That's about it. So how do you actually know? Are there questions you can ask to elicit some more feedback?
There are, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have a whole list of questions you can ask.
Do I have to pay for those, or can you share 1 or 2?
Yeah, you're going to have to pay. No, but actually the most important thing to do is to actually get a waiver. You can have people sign a waiver for reference checking.
Mm-hmm.
That helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all right, so let's say somebody gets past the review stage and they actually get hired. Is a lot of your work done on, most of your work is actually done on the pre-hiring, right? Or do you also do any training with new staff, for example?
I do both, actually.
Okay.
One of the things that I do uniquely, though, is measure how people think and how they make decisions. Most of the systems out there that do pre-hire testing are personality and behavior based, and they're great. And I like those tools. I'm certified in many of them, and I use them for different purposes: team building, communication workshops, and things of that nature.
You work with some pretty large companies, too.
I do. But when you're doing the pre-hire test, there's a specific few characteristics that you want to measure that most of the tools do not. And then I do work with organizations, of course, after they do the hiring. And one of the things I do even in the pre-hire process is if a business owner, say you were to call me and you were trying to hire someone, and I would give you an idea of what this person is like that you're trying to hire and your level of risk in hiring them. And not only that, but let's say you told me you were going to hire this person. I then would tell you, here's how you manage this person based on how they think and make decisions.
And that comes out from this profile you do about how they think and things like that.
That's right.
Because, you know, a good friend of mine, Angela Magasco, I don't know, we did a video this summer, and she has a mystery shopping business, but she talks about generational marketing. I thought that was very interesting. She said this is like the first time in our society where there's like 4 generations, sometimes in the same work environment, and how people need to be trained and talked to in different ways. You know, so the younger crowd is sometimes on Facebook or Twitter, and the older people are like, well, you can't do that at work time. So, but even the training, you have to address people in a certain way that kind of they're used to, or?
Well, you do. I think that the younger your candidate, the more you have to talk about mission and purpose and vision and impact of your organization and what it is that you do. That engages them at a higher level. They really want to make an impact the younger they are. Now, from measuring how people think and make decisions, all the research we have from that is that there's really no difference in the thinking. It's just a matter of in the basic structure of the way they think, okay? So what drives performance and what doesn't drive performance for Generation X compared to a baby boomer? Okay, the structure of thinking is the same. The value set is really ultimately the same at the core. But the vision, the purpose, the clarity. Now, the number one most important piece is respect.
Right.
I think the biggest thing that's impacting the culture is that the culture is we're becoming more, it seems, of a income-based culture. It used to be a very work ethic-based society.
Now everybody's looking, what's my paycheck?
Now it's what am I going to get paid?
Right.
And what has happened is the worker has become a thing rather than a really valued asset. So the respect levels have changed, and that's impacted performance to a great degree. Okay.
So is there any kind of information? I'm sure you have a website, but is there any kind of report or anything like that that people can learn more about what you're offering? Or?
Sure, yeah. You can go to realtalenthiring.com, and at that website there's several reports that you can get that'll be helpful. 7 mistakes to hiring the wrong person and things of that effect.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I trust Jay explicitly, and he's very big in the Glazer Kennedy world, and you work with a lot of the big dogs. I'm not going to name names, but you work with a lot of people actually behind the scenes, which is kind of cool. Very smart dude. So if you are thinking of hiring, I mean that.
It's true. No.
So if you're thinking of hiring, or you're hiring and maybe people aren't working out, and I mean, to me, it's all, I spent a lot of years in retail, regional manager, several people under me, and it's always those first, I say first 30 days, but it's really the first 3 hours or the first 3 days which really set the tone, I think, in that relationship.
That's true. When you're fortunate enough to find a superstar, then you need to keep them. And that's really where we mess up. We find a superstar and we rely totally on them. We don't do the best training we could do. We don't onboard them, they call it, properly. And that does get in the way.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your expertise.
Thank you, Jim.
So listen, before the day's out, look for ways that you can add more value to what it is that you do for your customers. When you add more value, wrap it up with world-class service, as I always say, your customers, clients, and patients will stay longer. When they stay longer, they're going to spend more and refer more. That's always a great thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And before the day's out, go do something nice for somebody. Wave them into traffic, hold the door, buy lunch once in a while. I mean, when you do things for nice people, it makes you feel good, makes them feel real special. By the way, if you haven't yet, check out the podcast, Stick Like Glue Radio. Hundreds of people every week are starting to, I tell my mom this, she goes, well, what are they listening to you for? So you can always count on your mom for, but it's we do 30-minute episodes. We're always interviewing some really good experts in all the different fields of marketing, smart marketing, and business building. And until next week, this is Jim Palmer, and I am committed to helping you build a more profitable business faster. You take care.